What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Solar Day. Nubian Queen. Santhony Marie. I am Louis Charles. Dish Baby 8. Choco Neat. Adisa Gordon. Alright, I'm gonna get into some. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's been enjoying the vibes over the weekend, alright? Enjoying these heavy, earthy vibes, getting grounded, alright? Getting more connected to the calculated spirit, to the organized spirit. A lot of us needed to get in touch with that spirit over the weekend. Alright, yeah, we had the moon transit in Capricorn, okay? I just want to get into some energies that we were dealing with over the weekend that I was talking about before the weekend, okay, and again to some energies to start the week, and then I want to finish Pluto retrograde transit in the houses. So without further ado, let me get right into it. Self-love Tasia, V Sade, the Flow Real. I see you, Flow. What's going on, Flowski? Baby Face. All right, so you know, we had the sun in Taurus, moon in Capricorn. It was a trine. All right, so we had the sun and moon both in Earth. So we were dealing with energies that were influencing us to. We were feeling like we had to get more situated, more organized, more calculated, get on top of priorities, responsibilities with the moon traveling, transit in Capricorn. All right, and the sun is already in Taurus. So we're already paying attention on things dealing with career, things dealing with what we building, what we feel like we have, once again, how we feel like we're using things. That was a huge emphasis over the weekend. How are we using certain things? How are we utilizing opportunities we already had? I said the sun and moon, both in Earth, is gonna bring opportunities for us to, 4LMB, Samane, Tiffany, and Yena Valentino. You gotta put a little. I know you gotta put some on that right there. Yen Valentino. All right, but Bonnie Botanica, Brandon Santana. So yeah, guys. So for the most part, a lot of us was jumping into an energy. I was saying this weekend was gonna provide opportunities for us to connect to certain feelings and thoughts. And possibly even bump into certain people, places, and things to help us understand how to utilize opportunities we already have within career, especially in the houses that we have Taurus and Capricorn in our chart. But a lot of opportunities dealing with things maybe business oriented. Maybe a lot of us walked into some opportunities this weekend and had the right thoughts to understand what tools we already have to work certain things, okay? And overall, when we got such a heavy Earth influence, we know Earth deal with reality, especially Capricorn. All right. Why? Because Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. Saturn rules reality. Saturn deals with structure and time. Saturn deals with organization, stability. So that was a huge influence for us over the weekend. Now the moon moved into Aquarius today. Now Aquarius is ruled by the same planet, Saturn. Maya P. Aquarius ruled by Saturn. So that Aquarius energy dealing with the same energy Capricorn dealing with, it just is doing it in a different way though. It's doing it in a more masculine way. See, the Capricorn is going to be more reserved. You ain't going to hear that much from the Capricorn about what they're working on, what they're building on, how they feel about things until they're in the motion of building it, until they have to communicate to somebody else that's a part of the plan. Like, yo, look, you don't do that way. You do it this way. This was the instructions. This is why I showed it to you this way when we started this motherfucker. So the Capricorn is Earth. It's going to be more reserved. All right? It's going to peep game a little bit more. And it's not to say Aquarius is not. Well, Aquarius is already air. Air deal with communication. So it's going to communicate to Saturn quicker than the Capricorn does. All right? Now, when we look at Aquarius, you know, it's fixed air ruled by Saturn. So this is the energy we're being influenced to react to get aligned with right now to start the week. All right, we got to get more aligned with dealing with some more forms of practical, realistic communication, having more meaningful conversations with people right now that are related and correlated to things that we're actually into, things that we're actually trying to build and establish, being more realistic about our time management with others, who we associate ourselves with. Key word with Aquarius, associations. You around an Aquarius, you if you around an Aquarius, that's big Saturn energy. Aquarius, sun, moon, rising. So it's like You around them. There's something that you bring to the table in some type of shape or form. You was not around Aquarius for no reason. Because yes, they is one of the most individual signs in the zodiac. So they will be to their goddamn selves and have a selective circle, even though they like dealing with the intellect, communication, exchanging of the thoughts. But the difference between, see, I'm a Libra, and then I got some Geminis in here too. So we all different. The Aquarius ain't gonna, I'll talk to you about some bullshit for no reason. For a little bit. I'm a Cap Moon, but my Libra ass will talk to you about some bullshit for a little minute before I transition the fuck out the conversation. Geminis too. Geminis be knowing how to change the conversation too. They be knowing how to change the subject of the conversation real quick. You was explaining some shit and then real quick you talk about some shit they want your ass to talk about. Aquarius, they not even gonna waste time communicating with you if they feel like there's really nothing there's no source of information, no real substance they could get from you. And you could tell when they give you real short replies. They give you real short replies, not that much eye contact. Because everything is hit with Saturn. Everything is about reality. Everything is about making sense in the thought when we talk about Aquarius. All right. So now that we have the moon transiting here, this is the energy we dealing with to start the week. But we got the sun in Taurus. And what does this create between the sun and the moon? This creates a square. All right. The sun and the moon are at a clash right now. They're both in fixed signs. So Aquariuses are more fixed in the ways that they want to communicate and deal with others and network and deal with the public environment, deal with the outside world, get established in the outside world, get some contacts, resources, bring a new idea or thought or form of creativity to the outside world. When we're looking at Taurus, they fixed on being stable. They fixed on being situated. They don't really care about all that being out there, networking, communication, relating. That's not the Taurus energy. So now we got to understand how to make the two work for each other to start this week. So you may feel a clash between the things that you want to work on, the things that you're paying attention to, sun in Taurus, okay? Things dealing with your forms of stability, things dealing with, what you're trying to build, creative endeavors you're working on, people, places, and things that you value, relationships that you're trying to tend to. This is all what we're paying attention to with the sun in Taurus. But starting the week with the moon in Aquarius, we got to learn to be more communicative about these things. We got to learn to, if there's any forms of vulnerability dealing with how we connect ourselves to people we don't know that we want to associate ourselves with, forms of networking or whatnot, seeing how we can network, what we working on. See, that's the thing that Taurus has to learn from Aquarius. Taurus is trying to be fixed in a stable position to build their garden, to build their resources. But when we're talking about building structures, how we deal with reality, there comes points where you got to deal with relationships. You're going to have to deal with interacting with others, all right, in some type of shape or form. You selling a product, whatever the fuck it is, all right? Aquarius, they already dealing with that energy, but it gets to a point where they need to get situated in what they truly value, though. They may feel like they could do a couple of things. They may feel like, the Aquarius may feel like they could network. They could use a lot of other things other people are doing to network. But they got to get to a point where they got to learn to get situated more realistically on what is it that they trying to work on. What is it they bring to the table? What is it they value? That's what the Taurus and Aquarius square are dealing with each other. So this is what we're going to have to learn to deal with the beginning, to start the beginning of this week. Understanding how to take all this Taurus energy, all this shit that we're trying to build, all this potential of what we feel like we could structure in the world with our talents, what we feel like we have, our creative attributes. That's the shit that's heavy on everybody's mind right now. And the security of your relationships. The security, keyword, the security of your relationships. Not so much how much you like or love the person. People understand that right now. People understand that they like this person a lot. People understand the emotion invest into it. People are trying to see the security in this relationship, the reality in this relationship. So this start of the week could deal with a lot of energies with us having to be more open, communicating some things that might not come off that easy, might not be so easy to express. It might be a little cold-hearted, but you know you have to meet this form of communication to make a relationship balance right now, to make a relationship feel more realistic and secure right now. All right, guys. So that's just if y'all dealing with any type of them clashes, picking up on that friction to start the week with some of y'all relationships. All right, classic Ashley, ZZ, Messiah Bibbs, Zana Suri, CC. All right, y'all. Now, we dealing with some heavy air vibes to start the week because this is what we coming into Monday with, right? With the moon in air, so we know we're gonna be dealing with some form of relationships. We may be thinking about people in some type of shape or form a little bit more than often. We may be getting a little frustrated, trying to jump into shit we individually into, but understanding we got to deal with others at the moment. All right. This weekend was heavy on people dealing with their responsibilities, priorities, especially with Pluto going retrograde in Capricorn. With Pluto going retrograde in Capricorn, god damn, like that shit be, them generational planets, when they go retrograde, they hit hard. Like I know everybody and their mother this week was realizing what the fuck is gonna see, Pluto got a different type of intensity to it. It got a different type of intensity to it. So when it goes retrograde, intense moments get replayed, but it could be in a real psychological way. It could be things that's not even affecting reality yet, but it hits you psychologically, something you feel like you need to tend to, you need to work on, all that revision type shit. But we're gonna get back into it when we jump into Pluto retrograde through the houses. So yeah, we starting the week with the moon in air, you feel me? And we got the sun in Taurus and all that. But then Tuesday, Mercury moving into Gemini. Now, it seemed like Mercury sped his ass up in Taurus. Like that motherfucker seemed like he was in that bitch for 1 week. Mercury got his ass. It was like, I'm about to get home. I'm about to be in one of the most comfortable places. Mercury rules Gemini. So the fact that we about to have that energy there, you know, Mercury deals with how we think and communicate, how we organize our thoughts. All right, has a huge influence on how we deal with what we choose to relate to others at the moment. So with Mercury and Taurus, a lot of people been feeling like we only trying to communicate right now if it's something that makes sense, if something we could build it on, if something we got in common. That's how communication been with Mercury and Taurus. If that's how that shit been with Mercury and Taurus right now. Everybody been trying to just make sure but it's Venus here. So yeah, a sense of, all people also wanted to relate to people they feel a sense of comfort to, people that they do like, but it was a lot of reality in forms of communication with this Venus, Mercury, and goddamn Taurus. When Mercury's in Earth signs, if you got Mercury in Earth, you know, the way you think is like people can't make you budge with your thoughts. You feel like the way you think is what brings you down. If you got Mercury in Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn, as soon as other people make you feel unorganized or whatever, all y'all feel like y'all need to do is just get into your own center and just, I need 2 hours to just think about everything. And y'all just get grounded. Y'all just get stabilized. Y'all make sure, because it's in the thought. So anything that's touching the thought, what the quality of your thoughts project a lot of shit. The quality of your thoughts projects a lot of your reality. So when y'all look at y'all Mercury sign, y'all got to understand this is the shit that's on your mind a lot. So if you know this is where your mind is at by default, whether you have a Mercury in water, fire, air, or earth, you got to understand that you can overcompensate mentally in that area. You can overthink in that area. So you got Mercury in water. You got to understand your emotions, how you feel about things. All right. The vibes in the environment, the emotions of somebody else may be something you overthink. Maybe something you take into heavy consideration when you get into your thinking bag. So that helps you to understand, you know, to get more of a realization of yourself. Mercury and fire, you go overthink about how you dealing with what you about to express to somebody. You can overthink about how you dealing with your form of creativity. You gotta let your creativity flow a little bit more, because the mind is gonna be on create something creative. Mercury in Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, especially Mercury in Leo. The mind is going to be on something creative, but everything with Mercury gets critical, gets detail oriented. All right. So when it gets into fire, you know, fire deals with creativity. It just flows. It's raw. All right. Fire is spiritual. That element itself is spiritual as a mother. So y'all gotta, you know, study your Mercury placement. Understand it. Hop up on that YouTube, check the Mercury videos from the Lucky Libra. You feel me? But With Mercury coming into Gemini, it's home here. Rules Gemini. Gemini is the mutable air sign ruled by Mercury. So air sign, we know, dealing with logic, communication, relatability. Air sends the message, okay? And then when we talk about mutables, the most flexible and adaptable air sign. So Geminis get around. Geminis know everybody, know a little something about everything, all right? And Mercury's home here. So this is going to turn Taurus season into way more relatable season. This second half of Taurus season is about to be a way more relatable half of the season, because, you know, this first half, when we had all these planets in Taurus, we was all getting more practical with the thought, getting into organization mode, getting more fixed and situated with what we're working on right now with our relationships, all right? Seeing if this relationship is something I could get secure, situated, and fixed in. Do I value it? Do I value it this much? All right. Does it play out as a support system to the things I want to work on? So this was the first half of Taurus season. Now with Mercury moving into Gemini, a lot of the things we were organizing, a lot of the things we being more reserved with processing, that shit is getting communicated out way more now. That shit is getting released now. This Mercury in Gemini, see, that's the thing. When a planet is home, it feels comfortable. All right. So what does Mercury want to do? It wants to think and communicate. So when it gets in Gemini, it's like, oh, perfect place to do that. Perfect place to have conversation. Perfect place to have the exchange of thought. Perfect place to express my thoughts. All right. And I'm going to do it with everybody too. I'm going to do it in everybody. It ain't the Libra air. I ain't going to be picky about who I do on a one-on-one level. It ain't the Aquarius air. I ain't gonna be a little bit reserved, you know, sniff the environment a little bit and see who makes sense here, and then feel like that's who I'm gonna have a conversation with. Nah, this is Gemini air. We go talk to everybody this season. I ain't holding back thoughts with motherfuckers this season. You feel me? Illy Socio, Easy, Ash Daisy, Mindfulomi, Swain, Rilo. Yo, what's good, bro? it runs in the family, man. Got my big brother here. K. Swearington. Boo, I'm screwed. Mercury in the earth sign. Yeah, listen, man, there's a gift to everything. There's a gift to everything. Y'all Mercury and earth signs. Y'all know how to bring some organized, structured ideas to other people's lives. Y'all know how to make some sense out of situations in your life that other people's emotions probably would be so rattled with. But that Mercury and earth sign gonna make sense of a situation it's in. It's gonna make sense of the reality of a relationship it's in. All right. So you gotta take the good with the bad. So when we look at Mercury getting into Gemini, yes, Mercury gives, it feels free. So if it's home, it feels comfortable. So we're all going to be feeling comfortable to communicate, relate some thoughts that may have been suppressed. It's like we're all going to have a cheat code to have a way more critical eye with Mercury and Gemini. There's going to be certain things that replay that people said to you. You're going to break it down in different ways. Like, oh, that's what this motherfucker meant with Mercury and Gemini. With Mercury and Gemini, I encourage people to, you know, you really want to exercise being an active listener during Mercury Gemini, because you will be influenced to say a lot of shit. You will be influenced to feel the need to communicate certain things. All right. So you gotta take your conversations and what you feel like expressing to others with a grain of salt. Think before you talk. Mercury and Gemini will speed the mind up way more. So we can, as much as we're going to be able to pick up on things with Mercury and Gemini, as much as we're going to be able to spot things, understand certain things that people have been communicating to us for a couple of weeks now, for a couple of months now. Now we in Mercury Gemini, we're able to observe it differently, because Gemini gonna give you different perspectives of things. So with the mind coming in here, now we about to have all different type of new perspectives. We're gonna see double to everything. You're gonna see different sides to everything. So, and you're gonna try to mentally get to the different sides of everything. So you gotta understand that as much as we're gonna jump into that, as much as we could clash with the way that we communicate with others, as much as we could just express a little bit too much. but it will speed shit up. So this is why like Geminis or Mercury and Gemini could be real forgetful, you know, because it could be doing a lot of things. Mercury is the quickest planet. So if Mercury is the quickest planet, this is why that's why Geminis have some quick ass thoughts. Air is all over the place too. But Virgos ruled by Mercury. Shit, some say Virgo's exalted. Mercury's exalted in Virgo. So if you know a Virgo, all right, like you really know a Virgo. I'm talking about like you really dated a Virgo before. You got relatives, close friends that are Virgos. Their mind doesn't stop. They can't shut their mind off. They can't stop seeing the detail of things. They can't help themselves but to notice things. Mercury don't sleep. So this is the energy we jumping into, especially when it comes to our relationships. Like, this is not the time to be nagging your partner about some shit that you feel like you just picking up on. That motherfucker snoring like that. Y'all been dating a month and a half, a year and a half now. This motherfucker been snoring like this for a minute. Now you want to express something, but now you want to communicate something about it. It was all good and dandy. Yeah, don't be petty with Mercury and Gemini right now. All right, y'all. I'm telling y'all, think before y'all talk. And what I like about Mercury and Gemini is once again, I'm saying, you know, this first half of Taurus season was really about us getting more situated, organized with the things that we want to get fixed with the things we believe in, the things that we want to build some foundation with. Mercury and Gemini is pushing us to see how, because like I said, air is like, it makes things travel. Air makes things travel. It's the relationship element. It's the air, you feel me, deals with the thoughts. So all these things we've been structuring, organizing, we're going to meet some opportunities to connect these things some more now. Some opportunities to connect what you're working on right now, to connect your music, all right? To connect your art, to connect your new business. Because universe is influencing you to interact right now with Mercury getting into Gemini. The moment y'all develop ideas of things that y'all should be communicating and networking with others, y'all go know y'all Mercury and Gemini bad. All right, so we're gonna get into that's gonna be on Tuesday. I'm gonna get on live and talk about that. I just want to give y'all a little highlight about that since we talking about energies to start the week. So double doses of air, Moon in Aquarius, Mercury and Gemini on Tuesday. Okay, now still got Mars sitting in early stages of Cancer. So I hope y'all been doing good with y'all emotions lately, because we got Mars in a place it don't like to be, and then his uncle Pluto just went retrograde. So that nigga bumping into a lot of old shit right now. Our Pluto going retrograde got us bumping and thinking and feeling a lot of old things that we were trying to fight for, or we went through transformations for, or we was doing little power and struggles with, even if it's not even in our reality right now. Like, even if we not in that relationship right now, even if we don't work in that job that we was working in 2 years ago anymore, like, that shit is coming back to help you understand what's to learn from it, what's to gain from it, how to cultivate that experience. Yeah, baby, pink and fact. Yeah, Mercury and Gemini. You ain't never gonna have an issue with something. You ain't never gonna have an issue with something called your Gemini friend or your Mercury and Gemini friend. And they're not gonna already have mad ideas on how y'all start bringing mad solutions to the table. And even if they don't give you the grand solution, I bet you when you got to the solution, there was a good source of why your ass got to where you got. They helped you research something else that you needed to research. Why? Because they know a little something about everything. It's the Gemini. Y'all be trying to come at the Geminis. I be trying to stick up for everybody, because I feel like the signs that get crucified the most on social media is the Geminis, motherfucking Scorpios, Libras. But the reasons y'all get crucified, y'all know that should be true though. So I just try to balance it out for you. I just be trying to make sure I shed some of the y'all godly energies, y'all light energies, y'all angelic energies. You feel me? But shout out to the Geminis, man. Shout out to you, Mercury. My problems with Geminis. I just see. I'm a Libra. I like to have a. It stings me sometimes. Libras and air signs could relate. I just like to have a good thought or a good assumption of how somebody else is thinking about some shit. Libras could think we could just swear we read people's minds and we know what other people thinking at times, and sometimes we do. Sometimes we really don't, and then we look dumb as hell. So Geminis, you can't never read y'all motherfuckers. Geminis will have you thinking of heavy on some shit that ain't got shit to do with anything, because they know how to psych your ass up with so much different ways of communicating. Those Mercury and Geminis. Oh man, I could go on with y'all Geminis, Mercury and Geminis, y'all Moon and Geminis. Woo, Moon and Geminis. You hurt your head trying to read them. You hurt your head pre-assuming with them. You hurt your head. But so yeah, Mercury and Gemini gonna have everybody jumping into a mentally sophisticated bag and motherfuckers gonna be bringing out all type of mental tricks, mind games, communication, subliminal communication tricks. I'm telling y'all now. Hey, air signs gonna be the first ones. Air signs, Libras, Aquarius, y'all the first ones to jump into that bag. Cause y'all air, so y'all like, oh shit, Mercury, Gemini, that's I fuck with that energy. It's air energy. Let's get to the communicating. Let's get to relating. Let's get to the gossiping. Let's get to traveling messages. Let's get to being mixy. So y'all gotta be careful now. This Taurus season. Just don't forget this business season. This Earth season. This priority season. This get your shit together season. This is Pluto retrograde season. AKA go play if you want. Go play if you want. Go neglect responsibilities if you want. Go act like that shit ain't gotta get transformed over there in the corner. Or that shit under your bed. Or that shit in your closet if you want. Go ahead. You gonna see some shit October 6th. So, great segue. Let's get back into Pluto retrograde going through the houses, y'all. It's 8:30. Let's get right into it. So, where we left off, last house we did was the 6th house. 7th through the 12th house. All right, so Capricorn in the 7th house. What's this? This is my Cancer risings. Capricorn in the 7th house. All right, shout out to my Cancer risings if you got any Cancer risings in the building. But when we look at that Capricorn in the 7th house, you see, once again, any energy that is in your 7th house, if you got intercepted houses, you got 2 constellations in there, you got 3 constellations in there, all right? And those are the things you're going to manifest in your relationship in some type of shape or form. You may end up dating that sign. A lot. That sign may be within your, a lot of your relationships, that sign may be in the sun, moon, rising, or Venus, or Mars, or Mercury when it comes to your relationships. But regardless if you actually end up dating that sign, you're gonna experience the frequency vibration of that energy when you jump into relationships, when you jump into communicating with others on a one-on-one level, when you get out your house and you deal with others and you interact in the world. The 7th house starts the external realm of the chart, so we're dealing with the outside world. We're dealing with the public environment. We're dealing with relating to others in different ways, though. All right? So the 7th house is when we start to connect our first house, our personality, our personal outlook, to the opposite, where we meet the opposite end of that energy in the external realm. So everybody's by default. It don't matter if, once again, you get into a karmic relationship, twin flame relationship, soulmate relationship. I don't even like putting them names on motherfucking relationships for real. But the more you get into whatever type of relationships in your life, everybody, period, gonna learn a lot about themselves through others, period, by default. especially in your relationships. The seventh house has an emphasis on intimate, romantic relationships, but this is one-on-one relationships of all sorts. All right, friends, co-workers, with your children, with your parents, the one-on-one connection with a person, place, or thing as well. All right, so Cancer risings got the moon and water in the first house. So this person personally takes their emotions into consideration about things. They're very conscious about what's in their personal life because they're sensitive to things that's in their personal circle. So people that's close to a Cancer rising, they could overcare for their goddamn asses more than they care for their damn self. But that's why they're very conscious of who gets into that personal circle, because they know they could do that. They know that themselves. They know when they start connecting to somebody, they start dating somebody, it's like, all right, let's take this, because my emotions could get from here to here next week. You feel me? Water signs, y'all know how y'all do with the emotions when y'all start connecting to somebody start understanding you. Keyword, understand with water. It's like, damn. You could still manifest experiences like this in this time and day. Understanding motherfucker. So when you get into having that energy in your first house, this is your personality, Cancer. Open-hearted. All right? So you got to learn how to guard that heart and have boundaries in your personal life. You know, wear the emotions on your sleeve. Sometimes it's subconscious. People see the emotions on you personally, and you don't even mean to project that moodiness. Cancer, sun, moon, and risings. Especially risings, though, because this is the personal presentation here. Now, what happens when we take that nurturing personality into the outside world with Capricorn in the seventh house? With Capricorn, Saturn ruled ass, dealing with reality restrictions ass, having to put time into everything ass, having to work on everything ass. What happens when we have to take that nurturing personality, that personal outlook in the world that deals with the subconscious and understanding of the world? When it meets reality, it could be a little shock for you, Cancer rising, a lot of the time. When you get into relationships and you see how a lot of your relationships at times can have a energy where people are realistic and practical about the relationship, or overthinking things about the timing of the relationship. And it's like, damn, why can't you just connect, fill things out some more, understand some things some more? So y'all manifest a lot of that energy in the external realm with Capricorn in that seventh house. All right. Capricorn in the seventh house also jumps y'all Cancer risings into an energy where y'all know y'all deal with the emotions in a certain type of way personally. All right, y'all know y'all could be vulnerable dealing with connecting in your personal life. So when Capricorn gets into seventh house, you got them Cancer risings that get real practical with you now. Get real realistic with you now. When y'all dating or whatnot, or just connected with you, they don't play with you. They're realistic. Capricorn in the seventh house, because they done experienced some restrictions, limitations, things they had to work on in their relationships, doing construction work. Once again, we say Capricorn, wherever you got Capricorn in your house, you're doing construction work there in some type of shape or form. Take it from a moon, cat rising. If somebody know that energy, I know it. You know what I mean? My whole life construction work. I don't know the last party I've been to. Shit. I don't know the last time I went to the motherfucking movies. Shit. I don't know the last time I went bowling out this motherfucker. I gotta work on everything out this motherfucker. It is what it is. This is my fault. It's what the fuck I was doing in my previous life. I manifest these responsibilities. So that's how you need to look at your energies. And a lot of y'all since we talking about the moon in Capricorn this weekend, y'all was feeling what I be feeling this weekend. A lot of y'all was realizing y'all couldn't do shit this weekend because, damn, I didn't work on that this week. I got to put time into that. Like, damn, like, I actually been ODing on that. I got to cut off on that, especially on Saturday. This is the Sabbath. You got to restrict something on Saturday. We got to restrict something, but this motherfucker reality got us fucked up. They make you think Saturday's the day to go crazy. So, wherever Capricorn is at, that's the area like you gonna be doing construction work in. You something getting torn down and something you building something and trying to come up. You trying to be an architect in that house. You trying to figure it out in that house. So Capricorn in seventh house, when it comes to how you connect with others, my Cancer rising, a lot of time when y'all connect with others in that one-on-one world, there's a lot of situations that make you understand that you can't do things with your emotions in the outside world. You can't do things with your emotions. You got to be realistic with motherfuckers. You got to be real practical and dead ass with motherfuckers. All right? You got to turn that Saturn on with a lot of people. So Pluto going retrograde in the 7th house. Caps? Well, not Caps, my Cancer risings. We got Pluto going retrograde in the 7th house. So with Pluto going retrograde, we know Pluto is going to bring a lot of replays to things that have either transformed us or we need to transform. It's going to bring a lot of replays to a lot of things that, you know, we've put depth to in the past, all right? Or a lot of things that be weighing on you, and you got to realize you got to put depth to it over this period now, leading up to October 6th. So when we look at the 7th house, in some type of shape or form, you got to be able to be open to the feelings and thoughts and influences of you diving back on how you allow the relationship you're dealing with to transform you. Maybe you're dealing with this right now. You're realizing somebody you're dealing with right now has transformed you, and you're willing to go through more transformations for this situation. You got to understand what you're willing to embark in with that situation, who you're dealing with. All right, the reality of that. Pluto and Capricorn is about the reality of how we're going to bring transformation to our lives. So when it goes retrograde in the 7th house, a lot of any planet going retrograde in the 7th house is dealing with some replays with some motherfucking relationships. So the reality here is Pluto deal with your desires. They rule the underworld. So you got to understand, if you had any relationships correlating to certain desires, universe may test you around this time with Pluto going retrograde in your 7th house. See if you about to let Pluto retrograde to have a motherfucker you was connected to come try to wreck your new home right now. Retrograde in the 7th house. I'm not even playing around. Is that it'll get like that. Your desires will be tested in your relationships with Pluto going retrograde here. Okay? The relationships you're in right now, the people that you're connecting to one-on-one right now. Let's say it's a relationship, somebody that is not even an intimate romantic relationship, you know, close friend, sibling or whatnot. Maybe you guys have had a lot of transformation in your relationship. You guys are picking up on energies of how maybe you could express yourself in a different way on a one-on-one level to make that relationship flow better. A lot of them energies while Pluto's going retrograde. So you're going to be seeing a lot of your goddamn self when it comes to your relationships. Maybe you may manifest a lot of circumstances with this with Pluto going retrograde all the way up to October 6th. You may manifest a lot of situations with people telling you about yourself in that 7th house. People in that 7th house telling you what you need to transform to help your reality. So if you already got somebody doing that in your life now, close friend, somebody you dated, your parents, they gonna be on your ass from now to October 6th. If you haven't been on top of the things they saying you need to transform in that 7th house. There's some relationships and friendships that you connected to in the 7th house. The expiration date may have already been passed and you still fucking around with this person. You still putting too much energy and time into this shit, and you know it's taking you away from your personal issues. You know it's been taking you away from your personal issues. You got these 2, what we got? The rest of the spring, you got the whole summer to do something about that. All right. So once again, wherever Pluto's transiting it's on an ongoing evolution of transformation. So in the 7th house, y'all just experience an ongoing evolution of understanding how to bring transformation to relationships when needed to in a realistic way. All right. By default, Cancer rises, you guys with that Capricorn in the 7th house. By default, y'all got to deal with relationships realistically. Sometimes y'all got to deal with not being so open with your heart, leading with your heart, letting your heart be on your sleeves. Y'all got to learn to check a motherfucker in your relationships to let them know y'all not dealing with no forms of vulnerability. All right. So when you got Pluto going retrograde here, y'all just want to be real conscious of who you connect yourself with. Because while Pluto's retrograde, it'll use whatever it got to use to let you know this is what got to go right now. So if you around a friend right now, Pluto retrograde in your 7th house, if you allow yourself to be around a friend that's always dragging you out your first house, dragging you out of your personal comfort zone, all right, dragging you out into something that you want to deal with, they dragging you into their priorities or whatnot. You gotta, if you continue to let that flow during this season, you may manifest a chaotic transformation because you let that drag a little bit too much. Pluto retrograde in the 7th house. a lot of y'all, if a lot of y'all that's in relationships right now, a lot of y'all that's like dating somebody right now, expect them to have a bit of a transformation of themselves within the relationship. Maybe they might see another realistic way of how they see a certain concept about y'all, and y'all just have to be understanding, because that may be your Pluto also. You experiencing Pluto in the 7th house helping you. They may be dealing with a form of transformation they need wherever Pluto's transiting your house, but because you got Pluto going retrograde in your 7th house, it's gonna come off like something that's changing your reality. But it's dealing with people you connected to, people you have a relationship with. So you got to learn to honor that if it's something that somebody feel like they need to do individually with Pluto in the 7th house in y'all relationships. Y'all got to make sure y'all got to, and that'd be some of the hardest things to do in relationships. That'd be some of the hardest things to do. Finding that compromise sometimes, dealing with people on the one-on-one level, dealing with people you really care about. It'd be a hard thing to do. But shit, that's why you get into relationships with people that are very meaningful, people that you know that you're willing to see the potential in bending things for, because you pick up on a frequency vibration that you know they would do it for you without a heartbeat. We just don't jump into relationships to jump into relationships for no reason. That's not being spiritually wise. So this is what y'all gonna be dealing with. Retrograde Pluto retrograde, that 7th house, all right? Try not to confuse peace with boredom. Right. We good. We good for reposting some self-care shit, but we know we gotta work on some shit. We good for doing that in the spiritual community. Self-care is making sure you take your ass to sleep and get your 3 meals a day. Now, make sure you work on what the fuck you need to work on. That shit did not mean, all right, overdo the vegan ice cream and Netflix. That did not mean that. That's not what we talking about. All right. So good point. I mean, cutting people off left and right. Yeah. Pluto retrograde in the 7th house, Cancer rises. Y'all gonna have to pick up on that influence, the transformations in your relationship that need to be made, and they're gonna be made. That's the thing. They're gonna be made. That's the thing. This is why we doing this right now, guys, because Pluto is not a up for debate thing. Like, it's not a up for debate thing. Like, yo, Pluto, like, hold on, you give me a couple more weeks. Give me to like Pisces season. You spot me to Pisces season next year. All right. Give me to like Sagittarius season. Give me extra 2 months after you go direct. I'll transfer on that shit. All right, my boy. I got an extra. I'm gonna holler at Mars. I owe Mars some money, but when I get that money from Mars, I got you. I got you. I'm gonna give you a little something for that. All right, my boy. They don't work like that. Pluto transforming some shit over this time, and if we can't get with it first, that shit gonna knock you off your ass the way it does it. That shit gonna fuck some shit up for real when it does it. That shit gonna feel way more traumatic when it happens. All right. So this is why we doing this. So when you around this Cancer risings, so when you around this motherfucker, Pluto going retrograde in the 7th house, and you feel that heat, you feel that intensity, you feel Pluto building up, you feel Pluto on your shoulders, like, this, we ain't doing this motherfucker when I go direct. If you don't handle this motherfucker before we go direct. See, if y'all don't pick up on that shit, if y'all don't do something when y'all pick up on that shit, I don't know what to tell you, because the way Pluto go do that shit, so you ain't gonna see it coming. So boom. I'm trying to let y'all understand how certain planets play. Pluto don't play. It don't play. It don't fucking play. Do Scorpions? I said Scorpions. That might be another constellation. That might be the cousin of Scorpio. But do Scorpios play with y'all? Smoking weed let you know how smoking weed will dehydrate the fuck out of you. I don't be realizing how dehydrated I be until I get on live and I'm just talking. I be like, damn, I gotta drink water every other fucking sentence. Goddamn. But do Scorpios play with y'all? No, they don't. Them niggas is ruled by Pluto. Co-ruled. AKA, when Pluto's in Scorpio, that motherfucker is like, oh, home. Let me sit on the throne. This is how I like to do things. Nice, dark, deep. Behind the scenes, secretive and shit. I get to handle all my passions and desires. Shit. Shared resources. Yeah, Scorpio know about some shared resources. Scorpios know about how to use somebody else shit to get some shit done. The other motherfucker not know the whole time. On some temptation manager shit, or all them old school movies where motherfuckers get manipulated and shit. Artists don't be knowing what the fuck going on, thinking they rich as hell. Manager, that's some Pluto energy. That's some Mars energy right there. So Pluto definitely in my seventh just fine. So that's what we looking at when we looking at with Pluto right now. You gonna know what is it you gotta transform. You gonna know what is it has an expiration date. You gonna know what is it that you need to cut off. You gonna know what it is that you can do to help yourself transform. You're gonna know. You're gonna feel it. It's gonna manifest. If you're not that intuitive enough to pick up on it, that person's gonna say something to you. You're gonna manifest a conversation with that person. You're gonna manifest a circumstance in that house to let you know, yeah, come on, let's get on the move with this. All right. So when we look, who said something about the percolator? Who said something about the percolator? Hold on, I gotta find that comment. Pluto definitely somehow just fuck everything up doing the percolator. Nah, y'all playing around too much tonight. Y'all playing around too much. That nigga gonna be percolating like fuck if we don't transform some shit. That's when he really gonna be percolating. He gonna be percolating, motherfucking stinky toeing. What's the name of it? The stinky knee? I don't remember. Stanky leg. All these young niggas be making all these motherfuckers. I'm an old school cat. I'm a young old school cat. All these little players be having all these new dances every other week. I don't stanky leg, stanky toe, stanky knee. Same thing to me. Same shit if you ask me. So yeah, y'all, we gotta get with the Pluto. We gotta get with Pluto because that nigga is not gonna. He not gonna care about getting with us. He gonna do what he gotta do. So that's what y'all dealing with, Capricorn, Cancer risings. Now, boom, my eighth house, Capricorn in the eighth house. This is my motherfucking Taurus risings. My Taurus risings. All right. So, you know, when we look at not my Taurus risings, my Gemini risings. So when we look at the eighth house, what's the eighth house? All right, the eighth house is dealing with everything internal with us that's behind the scenes. All right, so our secrets, our hidden emotions, hidden thoughts, you know, traumas, the rooted energies of things, you know, that's correlated to the psychology of us. Things that have impacted our emotions, our hidden passions, our hidden intentions, our hidden desires. All right. This house is, I always like to say, this is the dark house. Ain't no light in this house. It's a water house. You got to learn how to deal with emotions and swim through heavy vibes in this house. You know, you got to learn to feel your way out in this house. This is spiritually inclined house. This house is dealing with the occult, you know, astrology, tarot. This house is dealing with mysticism, nonverbal communication. So as you can see, the eighth house is deep. As you can see, Scorpios, they deep. Yeah, I did 1 through 6, but it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube and my IGTV. All right. So when we look at Capricorn in the eighth house, my Gemini risings, you know, you guys personally, we just spoke about the Gemini energy earlier in the video. You know, you guys are a real person. See, when you got Gemini in the first house, this person is talking to themselves about a whole lot of things. All right. Gemini risings, these very intellectual people, Gemini risings. And the thing about the Gemini in the first house is your personality. The first house is your natural personal presentation to the world. So it's like people, you don't even be knowing you doing your first house. You don't even be knowing you doing your rising ascendant shit. It's just who you are. Like, it's just your personality. Like, that's just what's in your first house. So Gemini rising is like, it's hard to, once again, that's why I'm saying it's hard to read them. When you put Gemini in the first house, the way they personally express themselves, you know, you'll meet them for the first time and they'll have this conversation with you at this party, whatnot. and then you'll see them personally, just macking to themselves, and you start seeing that they know everybody, but they not really talking that much. And then you step out the party, you lead a party, Gemini rising, look like it don't know nobody, but it start dapping up more people. You're like, wait, who is this mysterious ass nigga? Geminis risings have a way of really understanding how they could keep a distance between their relationships, but know everybody at the same time. All right, because they talking to themselves a whole lot with Gemini, that constellation in the first house, about how they want to personally connect, how they gonna rearrange in their personal life. All right, y'all real conscious about y'all personal relationships. All right, y'all know who y'all giving time to. Y'all understand? Like, you feel me? Like, it's hard for people to even understand who's in y'all circle. Gemini rises, you'll even know who in their circle for real like that. So that should get deep with Gemini rising. Very intellectual type of people, okay? And have a way of utilizing relationships to create opportunities in their personal life. A whole lot. All right? And they also help give a whole lot of advice to people because his first house is ruled by Mercury. So Gemini rises, when it comes to their personal issues, they have so many. It's like they overthink the solutions they already got. They'll have solutions, but they'll try to find more solutions to things. So there's just a lot of ideas for everything in their personal life. So when it comes to you being a Gemini rising's friend, if you close to them, they'll have a whole bunch of ideas once again for you to deal with your personal issues. And they'll be real light. It's not like they're gonna be heavy on you with it. It's not like they're gonna. Geminis don't like being heavy on people. They don't like projecting heavy energy on people because they don't like people doing that shit to them. All right. So when we look at Capricorn in that 8th house, Capricorn brings a sense of reality to how you deal with your deep passions, your hidden emotions. Okay, to things that transformed you. The 8th house deal with shared resources. So Gemini risings have a realistic way with that Capricorn in the 8th house. When it gets into certain intentions y'all have, certain motives y'all have, some things that y'all have a burn for, that y'all know y'all want to implement to the world, dealing with y'all passions and motives, y'all get real realistic with how y'all understand how y'all could network, or y'all could use certain things to build to get them things going. All right, it's just about depending on the sun and moon for the Gemini rising, is dealing with the consistency and not entertaining so much things. But when they do get in that bag with Capricorn in the 8th house, y'all jump into really trying to make sense of how to understand your true motives, really making sense about the things that have transformed y'all emotions, and seeing how y'all could use that to build something. All right, having them earth signs and them water houses start getting real realistic about how they about to use their emotions towards something. Y'all air rising. So when y'all got Pluto going retrograde here, see, this is the thing. Pluto already likes to be in this house. So for all y'all that got Capricorn in this 8th house and Pluto retrograde, there's a lot of things that y'all already either took action on with, that y'all had deep intentions for. There's already things y'all had deep motives for in the past, and whether y'all took action on it or not, you guys are about to gain way more clarity on the direction on how to move on these things right now. Okay, certain things that y'all have kept behind the scenes from others because y'all felt like it was the realistic thing to do. Like, say y'all dating somebody or whatnot, and there's certain emotions you felt like you had to realistically, because that's another thing. Earth in them waters, earth signs in them water houses. Earth signs in them water houses could make someone practicalize their emotions a lot. Air itself is already not dealing with the emotions. So personally, y'all not dealing with the emotions in no type of way. Y'all dealing with the intellect. So putting them earth signs in them water houses, y'all feel like y'all need to be realistic and practical when it comes to situations dealing with the emotion, or connecting the emotion, or understanding the emotion at times, especially if you don't got that many water placements. So when we have Capricorn in this 8th house, right now, y'all about to gain way more clarity on the more realistic ways to move on your motives. All right, there may be certain things that y'all have certain habits with. See, the 8th house deals with your desires and your habits. Maybe certain habits you have that like whether it's playing out as an addiction, something that that you're overindulging with. The 8th house, we could deal with a lot of overindulging in this house. All right, these are things that you definitely gonna have to learn to transform, and you may be in a state right now that you've been trying to understand it. You may already, before Pluto went retrograde, you was trying to understand why you dealing with these things, where these habits stem from, where these attachments stem from, okay? And everything in the 8th house is deep when it comes to the emotions. So when Pluto goes retrograde here, you guys, for this next couple of months going into October 6th, when Pluto go retrograde, it's gonna be a lot of deep revelations a couple of nights with you trying to understand self, because Pluto goes deep with this when it comes to self-discovery, understanding its own emotions in this 8th house. So Pluto going retrograde is trying to really see how it could deal with its space to help it execute its passions and its motives. Helping us is going to develop more ideas for you to think, for you to refine certain relationships, certain environments, certain things that you surround yourself by, to help you, bring the transformation you need to your emotions. All right. So literally everything with Pluto in that 8th house goes deep. So when it goes retrograde, expect some replays of certain traumas, things that you experienced in the past that trigger you emotionally. Expect certain things in your relationships and certain situations to bring these things up, to let you understand, you got to keep some more attention on some of these energies. All right. You got to we got to work on this burden. We can't just keep keeping this energy. Pluto the 8th house everything is deep in the 8th house, but Pluto understands this is why it's home here, because it deals with transformation. So when Pluto gets into the 8th house, it understands, okay, when I get here, we just don't sink into what's heavy. We use this to transform. We experience depth here. All right, that's when we get into the 9th house. 9th house, we enlighten. We have brighter views about things. But when we talk about the 8th house, Pluto knows how to transform shit here. So if you have Mars or Pluto in the 8th house, these are people that when it comes into their emotions, and even if you don't have a lot of water in your chart, if you got that Pluto or Mars in that 8th house, when it comes to your emotions of things, you try to understand why you even have a passion for things. You be trying to subconsciously understand why you even have a desire for dating these type of people, for being attracted to these type of people, for wanting to have a passion to be rich, for wanting to have a passion to build this. You want to truly understand that shit, because Mars and Pluto penetrates deep when it comes here, when it comes to how you truly feel about things. So this is what y'all experiencing with this energy going retrograde. All right. Formerly known as Mali, Cancerian healer in the building. Y'all make sure y'all tap into Cancerian healer, man. She's gifted reading the stars, y'all. Just lucky to you, Lucky. What's cracking, man? I am Sinistar, Shayna, Eternal Kismet. All right. So now you guys have Capricorn in the 8th house, Gemini rising. Y'all got Capricorn here. So once again, y'all real realistic. Y'all try to be real realistic and practical about how y'all is Saturn. You got Saturn ruling your 8th house. So when it comes to your emotions, you know how to block and guard things to help work on your emotions. You know how to avoid certain relationships and connecting to certain situations at times, Gemini, to understand like this is something I don't want to emotionally pay attention to or emotionally invest into right now. All right. So this is why I tell y'all, don't sleep on the Gemini risers. They know they know why they're around certain people. Probably way more than the Gemini sun and moon sometimes, because the Gemini sun and moon, all these placements going to attract a lot of relationships, but the moon does it the most because it brings in, it reels in. But Gemini in the personal house, it's the twins with it personally. So they never really gonna give you all of them personally. They project a lot, and it's subconscious. A lot of y'all don't know that y'all do this shit until y'all start getting into astrology. Y'all didn't know that y'all have a way of psyching people up with communicating, and it comes off as a gift at times, because you manifest certain things out of it. You give certain ideas, images about certain things out of it to others, and you realize, oh, that person, there's no way they're gonna be thinking what's really going on now, because I know I communicated that a certain way. So when it gets into that 8th house, this 8th house, this is what y'all gonna be encountering, bumping into while this shit goes into retrograde. I really be reading people so quick. Yup. So that's what y'all gonna be encountering with Pluto going retrograde. So, dive into some, meditation. Make sure you clear your space, having your peace of mind with Pluto going retrograde in the 8th house. This is not a time for y'all to be attached or this is not a time to be neglecting certain things that may be playing out as a defense mechanism about things in your life. Because Pluto gonna make it heavy for you to deal with it. Pluto's gonna make you heavy to it's not about overcoming certain things that you attach to or as a burden or that has transformed you, or that played out as a charm in the previous early in life, it's more so about you confronting it during retrograde. You don't have to, you don't have to climb the mountain in a day, but Pluto's gonna put it in your face. Pluto's gonna let you know this desire has to get transformed. Gonna let you know this breakup that's been hindering your relationship life because it impacted your emotions so much and it was so traumatic. We've been keeping this shit in the 8th house for a minute now, all right? This 8th house getting full. We need to cultivate this into something, all right? So let's revisit how we can construct the emotions a certain way where we could fucking function in reality and still tend to how we feel about things, all right? Why I gotta block off everything in reality? And the fact that I'm saying reality, that's what plays out with Capricorn in this house. You trying to understand how to deal with your emotions realistically so you can connect with others, so you can cultivate things that's deep about you that you've experienced to help you with reality. So it get deep with Pluto going retrograde in the 8th house. All right, y'all. So now 9th house. 9th house. This is my my Taurus risings. All right. Taurus risings. There's a lot going on in that first house. I just did Pluto in the 8th house, Shayna. I just did it just now. I just did the 8th house. If y'all didn't see 1 through 6, it's on YouTube and it's on my IG. And y'all know this is going up on IGTV or YouTube right after 2. So this is the 9th house. All right, it's 9:10, y'all. Let's get into it. So boom. Motherfucking 9th house. One of my favorite houses. Okay. When we look at the 9th house, this is the house of enlightenment. So we go through all that dark shit in the 8th house. We go through all that dealing with the behind the scenes realm. All right. Oh yeah, another thing about Pluto retrograde in that 8th house. Goddamn. Another thing about Pluto going retrograde in that 8th house, y'all gonna gain more clarity about people's motives that y'all dealing with. That's another thing. When y'all have y'all friends tell y'all to pay attention to this other person that y'all been dealing with, or y'all, you know how your mama just don't be liking certain people, and we be like, mama, they good people, like, no, you be tripping. Not when Pluto going retrograde. Now when Pluto going retrograde in that 8th house, you better listen to your mama. She picking up on some hidden shit. If anybody trying to bring some shit into the light for you with that Pluto going retrograde in the 8th house, y'all don't sleep on that shit. Somebody say something to you, express some shit to you, and that shit it show a true color. You trying to neglect it because that you ain't seen that color before. Nah, you saw that color. I know you've been seeing blue dating this person. I know they've been communicating a lot, relating a lot, so they have like a blue aura, the throat chakras beaming off. But they done showed you some. They showed you some red aura right now. That was some lower level demon animalistic energy they just showed you right now. Trust that color. Trust that aura when you see it. So yeah, it's just Pluto can penetrate really deep in the 8th house because it really wants to look at everything that transformed the emotions, or weighs heavy on the emotions, or weighs as a burden on the emotions. Pluto's trying to get rid of all of that shit and trying to put it into a higher light, and trying to see like, because Pluto's on a mission. Pluto got shit to accomplish. It got more shit to transform in the future. Pluto deals with rebirth, death, transformation. All that shit is the same shit. So if Pluto's transforming shit, is also giving life to shit in a way too. It deal with death. But something got to come to life. Something got to come to life after some shit die. And that's the thing. Pluto know that. Pluto know the grass is greener on the other side when you transform shit. It ain't about to tell you that shit when you feel so vulnerable making a certain decision in your life with something that need to be transformed, with something you got to cut off. Then a couple months later, a year later or whatnot, or when Pluto go back direct, certain opportunities start popping up. You start realizing real subconsciously. It's not even gonna be a heavy realization. You just start realizing like, damn, I really wouldn't manifest this opportunity if I ain't make that decision, if I ain't make that transformation. Like that's how it be when you manifest this shit. You don't really be thinking about like, oh my God, I manifested. Like, oh my God, my dream's coming through. It's like that shit just be happening. A couple months later, you be like, damn, like Oh shit. I said I was gonna do this. I did that, this, that, and the third. Let's keep the train rolling. All right. So that's what I want y'all to understand. Once again, Pluto in that going retrograde in that 8th house. Okay. Now Pluto going retrograde in the 9th house. With Capricorn here. Capricorn brings a sense of reality to wherever it's at. Brings a sense of restriction, have to put time into things, work on things, construction work wherever it's at. So the 9th house is dealing with the house of experiences. This is a fire house. This is the enlightenment house. All right. This is the education house. This is the house of higher learning. So whatever signs and planets you have in this house, this is the energy you're going to be experiencing a lot. Okay. So you bring Capricorn here, you're going to experience some restrictions in life. You're going to experience having to be steady in things in life. Depending on if you are Earth Taurus rising, but you got Leo energies, you got Aries energies, all right? You got Sagittarius energies. That a lot of these houses, them Earth and them fire houses, going to have to going to put you in a lot of situations to tell you to slow it down a little bit, all right? To learn how to implement your creativity in something more realistic. Now, this is the house of higher learning. So here you're understanding how to take your experiences and the things you're learning to build something, to implement it into something in reality. That's what Capricorn is doing in the 9th house for my Taurus risings. So if you know a Taurus rising and they spiritual, if you know a Taurus rising and they spiritual, best believe 9 out of 10 times they're using a ritual to try to manifest some shit for real career. They trying to shift something in their reality for real with them earth elements touching that firehouse. They try to get a promotion. They trying to get financial freedom. They gonna utilize spirituality, some tricks. They gonna learn some shit to make sure that reality really shift in some type of shape or form. Then that's when they really start realizing, oh, like, there, I am powerful. All right, there, boom, boom, boom. All right. Air elements in the 9th house gonna manifest a lot of experiences dealing with relationships on all levels. On all levels. Your intimate relationships, your friendships. The 9th house is the house of experiencing adventures. So you'll manifest a lot of people dragging you into a lot of adventures. Air in that 9th house. And they all different. So Gemini in the 9th house, a lot of them build a lot of friends. Because the 9th house deals with expansion, like long distance. So when Gemini is here, you meet a lot of things outside of your actual familiar surroundings become your familiar surroundings. It's like the outside world become your familiar surroundings. You get familiar with a lot of shit that's not even near you, a lot of shit that's outside of you, a lot of relationships you meet with people that you went to, and you probably go to high school way outside your town, probably went to prep school, probably like shit like that, like, because you got Gemini in that 9th house, you are what? You a Libra rising. Then if you got Aquarius in the 9th house, you experiencing understanding how to network, how to utilize your relationships. You really going through a lot of experiences and trying to analyze that from a bigger, broader perspective. You're going to develop a lot of philosophies and perspectives on understanding the importance on how to have your individuality connected to others. Understanding how everybody else is an individual and how things correlate with each other. How you can make that work for yourself. How you could get yourself more integrated in the outside realm. A lot of experiences with that. That's going to teach you that. And then Libra, I got Libra in the 9th house. You feel me? This is where a lot of my planets are at. So, Libra in this house, I'm learning a whole lot about one-on-one, situations with others and understanding, because it's Venus in this house. So you got Libra in this house. There's a lot that you're going to understand about valuing your relationships and understanding how much you value relationships that you shouldn't be valuing and how they could impact your experiences. positive or negatively. So good question. But when we look at Capricorn here, yeah, once again, you try to learn, you understand how to structure reality here. And you may learn it from real philosophical different ways. You may love to learn about things with entrepreneurship, but learning it from teachers who teach it philosophically, all right? People that teach it from the law of attraction or, you know, shit like that. Like you like getting into the philosophical perspectives about growing, about stability, about business, about structuring your reality, how the quality of your thought and you know, your belief system can help you to experience certain things in reality. You know, Earth is going to do that in the 9th house. So these are things these people love to learn. Things that's in your 9th house, you love to learn it. These people love to learn how to build and make money here. All right, Taurus risings. So when we got motherfucking Pluto going retrograde in your 9th house, Pluto retrograde in the 9th house, you know, Pluto deal with desires, you know, habits, passions, transformation, rebirth, deaths. So a lot of things you're gonna ponder a lot on about. You're gonna ponder on a lot of things while Pluto retrograde that's dealing with things that have died in your life. Certain concepts, things that you're not involved with no more, that used to be a heavy experience for you. Used to be something that you was dealing with passionately. It used to be something that you was really connected to. All right, or was just once again a huge chapter of your life. You're gonna be pondering a lot of them things with Pluto going retrograde to help you understand what was the point of you even. Why was that even a chapter of life? Why was that even an experience? Why was that a passion? Why was that a desire? Pluto going retrograde here. Why did I feel like I had to experience that so much? What type of experiences would I have manifested if I wasn't dealing with that desire so much? Pluto going retrograde in the 9th house. A lot of them questions with Pluto going retrograde here. Okay? 9th house deals with expansion. So for a lot of y'all Taurus risings that want to bring transformation to how y'all able to deal with forms of experiencing, is a lot of looking in the mirror to understand how you may have been playing out as blockages to things you know you could be cementing, working on, creating and establishing as a foundation to help you experience more. You got Capricorn in the 9th house, Taurus risings. Y'all already learning about building. Taurus in the 1st house is learning how to build personal structure through its talents, through what it really values, through what it likes to connect to what it likes to relate to. And then Capricorn in the 9th house is teaching y'all how to be realistic, how y'all utilize y'all experiences and apply them to real life to help you build some structure. So a lot of y'all are in situations with Pluto going retrograde that may be a lot of information, wisdom that you guys haven't been utilizing to help y'all in reality, to help y'all structure, build something Taurus rises like. And y'all already going through right now with all them, what y'all got? Y'all got the Sun, Venus in that 1st house. Depending if your house intercepted or not, may still have Mercury in the 1st house, even though it's moving into Gemini soon. So there's a whole lot of self-belief energy going on with y'all right now. There's a whole lot of energy in y'all personal life y'all feel like y'all ain't settling for right now. So it's all about understanding how you about to make your creativity and your vision as realistic as possible. And when it comes to that 9th house, Capricorn gonna help you do that with a whole bunch of wisdom that may be in the back of the trunk, a whole bunch of gems that may be in the back of the trunk that you ain't been utilizing, you ain't been applying to your relationships, some wisdom that you ain't been applying to, you know, career, how you building things, some wisdom you ain't been applying to how you could have, you know, more structure and the ability to take care of priorities and establish things in your life. So that's what Pluto going retrograde is doing in the 9th house, okay? Pluto going retrograde in the 10th house. My Aries risings. My Aries risings. Now, when you got Capricorn here, Capricorn is home here. It likes to be in this house. All right? This is the house that gave birth to Capricorn. The houses came first. Then we had the signs. So when we look at Capricorn here, the 10th house is dealing with how we structure ourselves. You know, how we broadcast ourselves to the world. Our career, how others see us in our career life, our social status, all right, our presentation to the world. This house has a whole lot to do with career. A lot of people manifest energies dealing with career just based off their midheaven, all all right? Or in some type of shape or form, their midheaven energy is a huge frequency vibration in what they're doing with career. So when we have Capricorn in the 10th house, a lot of these people's getting it out the mud, all right? Capricorn, they're putting a lot of work in career. You know, they have a lot of things they want to build in career. Aries risings, a lot of things that they want to structure here, okay? But this is a very important house for Aries risings, because this is the 10th house. This house squares your personality. So your personality don't deal with reality. Your personality don't deal with time and structure. Your personality deals with creativity, expression, feeling, delight, awareness. That's what your charge, passion. That's what your personality deals with, Aries risings. So this house teaches y'all that we can't really make any of that creativity in that first house something in reality structured if we don't learn to become an architect in that 10th house. If we don't learn to get realistic about how we going to build upon our creativity in that first house. This is what Aries risings are learning. So with Pluto going retrograde in this house, it's going to be a lot of things that y'all experience, a lot of power struggle issues that y'all done had when it comes to things in career. It's a lot of things y'all going to be getting clarity about when it comes to Pluto going retrograde. A lot of career decisions that you may have made because you was too passionate. You know, you probably did it too quick. You ain't do it as realistic, as practical. You ain't wait, you ain't reserve, you ain't weigh your options out. And then you had to end up being stuck in a certain situation because Pluto could deal with setbacks, shortcomings, and Capricorn's already doing construction. So like I said, the house we have Capricorn in, we're doing a whole bunch of construction here. There's a whole bunch of shit we building, and we trying to see how it fit. We trying to see how it work. We trying to see how much time it's going to take. So when you got Capricorn in the 10th house, Aries risings, that be one of y'all biggest issues. That be one of the things that be one of the things that be burning y'all in this experience. Y'all be like, damn, I'm passionate as hell about getting this shit done, but this shit gonna take some time. Like, yeah, Aries risings, Capricorn in the 10th house. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take that. But Pluto going retrograde here is going to help you to understand how maybe some things in the past could have got transformed the way you wanted to if you took more time, you was more patient in this area of life. All right? You guys are creative as hell, Aries risings. And you guys know how to make shit happen out of thin air. I know Aries rising energy. But that be the Achilles heel in this house. Understanding when to do things with patience when it comes to career and how you want to broadcast yourself to the world. Things that you're dealing with in business, not allowing your emotions to get the best of you when you're dealing with things with business at times. All right. So when you have Pluto going retrograde here, it's helping you to get more realistic about all the things that you're passionate about, all the intentions that you have when it comes to career, about your brand, your business, about how you want to structure things, about the foundation of your life, about, you know, the forms of stability you have in your life, about how you, this house is not only our social status, our reputation, but once again, it's also how we're able to rise to a status. How we can build a path to build that. This house deal with legacy. So like Capricorn in this house, you Aries risings, you have a strong intuition, a strong influence in this lifetime to build some form of legacy, to make something happen, to be broadcasted a certain way, to make sure your shit comes off, you know, professional. But it's just hard to personally get with it. A lot of y'all that have the sun and moon in earth signs, that helps a whole lot here. You know, helps a whole lot. So this is what we're dealing with. You know, understanding a lot of mistakes we may have, errors and mistakes we may have made in career with Capricorn here. Seeing things you do need to, you know, maybe something you paying attention to is, let's say you guys is trying to make a certain transformation when it comes to career, how you broadcasting yourself, business. You know, you may be paying attention to a person, place, or thing right now. I know damn well there ain't no time you're going to come home from work, put your 2 hours in to build this YouTube channel, to build, you know, this mixtape, to build, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to present, broadcast, work, what you're trying to utilize as a form of stability to build some structure in this 10th house. It ain't no way you gonna come home from work, be able to put 2 hours into that you could barely squeeze in. You really just want to work, chill, but you know you got to work on that a little bit and entertain the situation. You got to understand what to transform to help you put time into your priorities when it comes to business and structure right now, Aries risings. So Pluto retrograde gonna help you to understand this. Gonna help you to see what got to get transformed. Gonna help you to see, you know, how it's going to be really hard to do this thing that you want to do for career if you still entertaining that, if you still attached to that. Pluto going retrograde here. Pluto going retrograde here is going to help you to understand the desires you have for career. You may be real passionate in this area of life. You may be once again experiencing a lot of power and struggles here, having to fight for a lot of things with career. But Pluto retrograde about to help you to understand why you had to deal with that resistance. All right? And help you to understand that you may have to understand how to embrace that some more. Embrace putting in more dealing with more resistance to help you get to where you got to get. You're never going to have a goal or something that you want to manifest with no resistance. It's impossible. Y'all show me how it's done. Y'all bring me somebody that, I don't care if dead or alive. Dead or alive. I got a cash app for y'all. 100 cash. Y'all bring me somebody that manifested some shit with no resistance. Had a goal and it just easy flowing. Like ain't no force, ain't no energy hit them back to say, sit your ass back down. Or you can't do this shit. Sit your black ass back down. Life gonna throw that shit at you. That's just opposites attract. This is just how it is. So the 10th house, you're going to understand your own shortcomings here. Understand how you may have played out your own blockages when it comes to career, okay? And how to revisit these moments to make sure they don't happen in the present and how you could capitalize on these things here, all right? But this is definitely a time for you business owners. Pluto going retrograde in the 10th house. This is definitely a time for like business owners, people that want to deal with any form of business, you know. If there's anything that you've been dealing with struggles in your business or struggles with maybe you're trying to build things on social media. I like to say the 10th and 11th house both deal with like social media. 11th house more so, but the 10th house deal with presentation, broadcast, your brand and shit. So I like to say, you know, for those of y'all here, if y'all been dealing with any situations that it's been hard for you to work on certain things with career, you may have forced certain things in career, like you trying to figure out how to get certain sales for your business. You really got to pay attention to things that you pick up on during this retrograde season to help you make the right adjustments with what you're doing for career. All right. A lot of y'all may be dealing with situations in career that y'all been there too long. Y'all been there way too long. This job was supposed to be temporary. This is Pluto going retrograde in all the Earth houses. 2nd, 6th, and 10th house. But 2nd, 6th, and 10th house. A lot of y'all at jobs that y'all should have been transitioned from, shit that y'all got comfortable and content in, or situations that it's seeming more frustrating now because you got comfortable here. You haven't been working on what you want to work on, or so now when certain heavy transits hit a house that's dealing with how you broadcast it and foundation, it feel frustrating because you know you haven't been putting in time into it. You know, so that's what we're dealing with here. Now, Capricorn in the 11th house, okay? The 11th house deal with the public environment. What's this? This is my Pisces. This is my Pisces risings, man. I love Pisces risings. I love Pisces, period. Feel me? But when we look at Aquarius in this not Aquarius, this is the Aquarius house, but when we look at Capricorn in this 11th house deal with the public environment, how we associate ourselves with the public world. Is the air house. Air houses deal with motherfucking relationships, interaction, people. Okay? So when you got Capricorn in this house, you know, this Saturn's home in this house. Saturn rules Capricorn. All right. So when you got Capricorn in this 11th house, you know, you Pisces risings are always trying to, you know, pick up on the reality of things that you're connected to outside in the public environment. Because you guys could be real personally connected to your own forms of creativity, your own dreams, your own imaginations, your own emotions, your own illusions. Pisces in the 1st house. Strong relationship, I want to say a sacred relationship with your creativity, Pisces risings. So Capricorn in this house helps you see it influences you to deal with reality when you're dealing with the public environment, when you're dealing with others. But you also learn to put restrictions on certain things that you encounter in a public environment too, Pisces risings. So play out positive and negative. So certain environments that ain't got shit to do with you might not catch a Pisces rising there. Good luck on that. Or certain relationships you should embark on, you should utilize, you should network on. You might sleep on them. You might restrict that, Pisces rising. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. But a lot of times, Capricorn could get with this house. Capricorn could get with understanding the reality, how it networks with others, how it associates with others. All right? It's just it could over practicalize things a little too much sometimes. So when Pluto goes retrograde, it's going to be a lot of situations with old associates that may pop up. I like to say this house is the people that ain't really make it into any close circle for real. But you just know them. Those some 11th house motherfuckers. It's like you know them, but you don't know them. Might be a mutual friend or some shit, or somebody you just worked with for a little bit, went to school with for a little bit. They know you know them. You know them and shit. They know you know them and shit. But it's like, yeah, that's an 11th house motherfucker. I already know them. Situations with these motherfuckers, you trying to understand the connection of why you even connected to these motherfuckers and shit. That's some shit that's going to be going on with Pluto going retrograde. Understanding the substance of your associates and why you why you even associated with certain people right now. Pluto going retrograde this 11. Because 11th house is air house. It's an air house. So we dealing with relationships. We're dealing with connecting with other people. Maybe some people you associated with, you losing touch of why you even connected to these group of people. You may have to get transformed over this motherfucker, over this transit. All right, may have to embrace some things. This house deals with social media, technology, communication. So it may be some things you gotta embrace. Dealing with connecting with the public environment, understanding, how you may have played out blockages in your life by not embracing networking, associating with others, working with others. Pluto retrograde gonna make you jump into energies of understanding how to, read them experiences so you could tackle them next time. Understanding how to, get more in tune with the resources you do have among your relationships. Pluto retrograde is gonna make you realize that. But we know we're talking a whole lot about rebirth and giving depth to shit. So, Pluto going retrograde here is going to be a lot of people that or if you are around a lot of people that, you shouldn't be associated with, you may deal with some heavy transformative situations if you cling on to these relationships off the name of a desire, off the name of something. Let's say there's a desire you have to obtain something, connect to something, and you're only around a group of people just to get closer to that. Pluto might play out in energy like, yo, we could get this on our own. We ain't got to do all this. So that relationship get transformed. A lot of energies with y'all understanding how to have more individuality moving amongst others right now. Retrograde about to help y'all to understand that. So y'all already been picking up on these energies for the beginning of the week. Y'all already been picking up on these energies. I don't know how my music is going to cut off like that. That's gangster. All right, there we go. So that's what y'all got to make sure. Y'all got to make sure y'all relationships don't get in the way of things that y'all know need to get prioritized. Y'all got to make sure that the people that y'all associated with, you have a meaning and reasoning. You understand why you sharing time with this person, with these group of people, why you allow yourself to be in certain environments. All right. It's going to be a Pluto retrograde by to help you understand, the environments you jump into outside of your personal space right now. And help you to understand what's the root of you even dealing with these environments. So a whole bunch of clarity on how to bring transformation to your relationships. A whole lot of new ideas or new tweaks to seeing how you could connect a form of creativity or connect the idea or thought to another or to the collective. Like this house has a whole lot to do with connecting to the collective. So, don't sleep on these ideas, Pisces rising. I know there's some vulnerability that comes here. So let's say you guys aren't dealing with some air in your chart, with some fire in your chart. You feel me? It could be some vulnerability taking your what I said earlier in the reading, your sacred relationship with creativity could be a little vulnerable, connecting that to the outside world at times. You know, so this is why we got to jump into more realistic, positive points of views with how we deal with others. So the ideas that you have, what times you could have did that in the past, don't have to sink into that shit. You just need to learn from it. All right. So when Pluto goes back direct, you have more of a, of a feel with how you want to network with others, with people that you're dealing with, how you may be utilizing different forms of social media to be able to, work a business aspect in your life or whatnot. These are things, but this. But it's just that when you got Pluto going retrograde in the air houses, some of the relationships, some of the transformation in your relationships can be unexpected too. That's the reality of it. A lot of the times we're gonna pick up on things that we may need to distance ourselves from, or we need to we need to initiate some transformation from. But Pluto going retrograde in air houses, you could pick up on different energies from others. And sometimes that's an indication of how you got to deal with people. So you got to keep an eye out for that. So this is what I'm saying. If people right now that's around, a lot of people are associating themselves with others, or even dating people that there's no common interest, or you doing it to pass time. Pluto retrograde energies, it starts connecting to the root of what's the reality of this. We got some things that we need to structure and prioritize in Capricorn, whatever house we have that. We're not able to do that with us paying time and attention to certain things. It's time to snip, chop, chop. All right? So a lot of this is going to be in this area of life when it comes to y'all Pisces risings. And then last but not least, Capricorn in the 12th house. My Aquarius risings. My Aquarius risings, okay? Shelby, what's cracking? What's cracking, Shelbs? All right? So, to cap it off, when we look at that 12th house, this water house, subconscious house, dealing with our dreams, dealing with our imagination, dealing with emotions, but understanding the emotions of others in the collective. Energies in this house show you how you may do that. Okay, your fantasies, karma, life after death. People like to say hidden talents when we talk about the 12th house. I guess we could say hidden talents. People, I hear astrologers say that a lot. But I think when we say the 12th house, when we round it up to saying that the theme of this house is dealing with the imagination, I think that kind of coincides. So Capricorn in the 12th house, this is a subconscious house. So a lot of things that we do in this house is subconscious. A lot of planets that you have, if you got planets in this house, you do these things subconsciously. So Capricorn in this house, realistic and always trying to do construction work and practicalize how it deals with a creative attribute, with his dreams, with his emotions, with his imagination. Get real practical and realistic in that mechanism for sure, Capricorn here. This house is going to be ruled by Saturn if you got Capricorn here. We know Saturn deals with restrictions, so this person may experience a lot of restrictions when it comes to things in their imagination and in their dreams. So they got to understand that, it's a positive way. It's a positive thing to be able to look at your imagination and start to see how you could practically implement it into reality. But at times, you got to understand, having Saturn here, you can get content with certain things, restrictions, and things you're forced to put time into when it comes into your dreams and imagination. Especially if you got a lot of fire energies and shit, it could be frustrating having to put time into things with your imagination. So with you experiencing that in life with Capricorn here, with you experiencing you dealing with restrictions, limitations with Capricorn in this 12th house, all right? When it comes to your imagination, when it comes to things you want to connect to and experience. Also want to say this house deals with experiences as well. Pluto retrograde is about a revisit All the times you may have played out as a restriction on yourself when it came to your imaginations, when it came to something you wanted to connect to, when it comes to something that you wanted to experience. Dream, concept, creative attribute, relationship, opportunity you didn't jump into. Pluto retrograde is going to revisit these things in this house. Pluto retrograde is going to revisit old dreams to try to find clarity to these things. All right? A lot of people, places, and things that you're connected to, you're going to be seeing the reality of and seeing how it plays out as a compliment or detriment to things in your imagination, things in your dreams. All right? Pluto retrograde is going to help you to understand, is going to dig deep. See, this is a 12th house. When we talk about water houses, we talking about the subconscious psychology, more deep-rooted things. So, like Pluto going retrograde in the 12th house, it gets deep into certain things when it comes to certain behaviors or certain ways that you feel like you react to things for you to understand, why you may develop these certain habits in some type of shape or form. Is it playing out as a defense mechanism for certain things that you want to experience or that you've experienced in life, or your fears, certain fears? Pluto retrograde is going to tackle some fears in this 12th house. All right. When we talk about revisiting in this 12th house, we got to understand, Pluto can make things heavy at times. We may have to pay attention to negative things to see some positive outcomes, revisit some negative experiences to understand how to move more positively in the present. So, don't let you revisiting insecurities, shortcomings, vulnerable situations with your dreams and imagination play too hard on you with Pluto going retrograde. It's more so trying to fuel you to deal with the reality of you experiencing things like that. It's fueling you to deal with the reality of your creative journey, dealing with your imagination. It could feel like that a lot of times, Aquarius risings. It could feel like, once again, you got to put a lot of time into things that you want to cultivate out of your imagination, or you may not have the resources for things that you want to build out of your dreams. So, that's when we got to get realistic about what you do have and how you could utilize what you do have. Pluto retrograde is going to bring back a lot of situations where you did have what you felt like you didn't have to connect to something, to experience something. So it's going to make you really size up what you got now, what you're looking at as a restriction now. All right? We got Aquarius in the first house. I got Aquarius in the first house. I'm a Capricorn rising. So once again, having Saturn influence my first house, I understand how it feels to feel like you always got to put time into shit in my personal life. Always got to put time and work on some shit. Can't experience certain things I want to experience in my personal life. So with Capricorn in the 12th house, it may be so subconscious how you play out restrictions on yourself. This is the subconscious house. So that's a lot of things, a lot of barriers, restrictions that you could have, you let it stop you from connecting to something you wanted to connect to. You let it stop you from experiencing something with your creative attribute within your business, something that you're reeling out of your imagination. Pluto retrograde is going to help you to revisit these things to see how we could tweak it, to see how you could be more realistic about how you move move on them things. And because this is a water house, things that's playing out as any form of emotional burden. But I like to say, because it's a 12th house, any type of form of insecurity when it comes to things that you feel like you can't manifest, you can't experience, you can't bring into fruition. It's too in the air. It's too dreamy to bring it here. Pluto retrograde gonna revisit that shit. Gonna be like, you sure? Is you sure? We're going to keep dreaming about this shit. So we're going to keep dreaming about this shit from now to October 6th. I'm going to keep asking you this shit in your dreams every night. Is you sure? Why do you feel like you are not capable? Why do you not believe? 12th house energy, Pisces energy, belief, faith. Pluto retrograde is helping you to understand what you've been putting belief and faith into in this house. Do we need to cut that off? You've been putting a little too much faith into that person. A little bit too much faith into this relationship. A little bit too much faith into this idea that you can't do something, that you will deal with this much restriction if you do something, Aquarius risings. Maybe you put too much belief and faith into that reality. So Pluto retrograde is helping you to get your whole psyche back right and help you to transform anything that you may have connected to that play out negative energies on what you can't manifest in this 12th house. You can't manifest with your dreams. So y'all gonna be picking up on heavy intuitive influences when y'all around certain person, places, or things, dealing with certain habits, certain things you connected to, certain substances, as very frustrating or heavy or clogging your space. And then you're gonna know that's what has to be transformed. All right. It's the water houses. Water houses play on our emotional well-being. All right. These are the water houses in our chart. Water houses in our chart. The things that we experience in these houses have a whole imprint on our psyche. Have a whole imprint on the ways we deal with the emotions. All right, aka the 4th house, how we deal with the home, the connection to our parents. The 8th house, how we deal with our secrets, our hidden emotions, experiences that have transformed the emotions, traumas, certain deep passions and intentions. And then how we deal with the 12th house, our subconscious, our dreams, the things that we imagine, all right, the things that we do have faith and belief in, all right, things that we do want to experience, the things that we've learned, okay? All of them areas going to impact how you deal with the emotions or how you connect with others on a subconscious level. So that retrograde in the 12th house, you don't want to sleep on anything dealing with your form of creativity or your imagination as this planet goes retrograde and makes you revisit things that you need to transform to help you with your dreams and imagination and what you want to experience. All right. So family, I'm going to go ahead and get this up. I wanted to make sure I finished before 10 o'clock. All right. About to get this up on YouTube. If you haven't seen 1 through 6, that's already posted on YouTube, IGTV. I'm going to jump on here sometime tomorrow. I'm trying to keep them IG lives coming every day. I'm trying to turn up the rest of the second half of Taurus season. All right, y'all. So tomorrow we're going to get more into some of this Aquarius moon energy. All right. We just started picking up on today. We're going to start talking more about this Mercury and Gemini some more. I highlighted it today. So we want to get into how it's affecting y'all. All right. A lot of y'all about to be saying a whole lot of shit y'all don't got to say. All right. And I'm saying this to myself even more because I'm an air sign. I already just be talking some bullshit all the time. So I got to be on top of myself, Mercury and Gemini season. All right. All right, y'all. So hope y'all have a great night and a positive and productive and prosperous day tomorrow. All right. Let's start the week with some positive charge. All right, family. Peace.